Hi, I'm Eva W. reporting for Kids First, and today I'm talking with Dan Scanlon, the director of the new Pixar film Onward. Thank you for talking with me today, Dan.
Thank you for talking to me, Ava.
You've worked on some pretty fantastic films, including Toy Story 4 and Incredibles 2. As art department director and screenwriter, what do you like doing best and why?
Well, it's fun at Pixar. You get to work on everybody's movie. Even if you're not officially on the team, we get to give each other ideas and watch each other's movies. And my favorite thing to do, though, is the writing. I love writing and making up new stories and making up new characters and working with other people to bounce ideas off of other writers. It's really collaborative and exciting.
Wow, I can tell that will be very fun and exciting. What are the main differences between directing a live-action movie and an animated movie?
Well, I've only directed one live-action movie, but I did it very kind of on the cheap. So I don't really know what that's like. But I will say animated movies are so hard because you have to give everyone context to what's happening because it's all made up. You have to create everything. So you'll have an actor in a room, and the actor doesn't know that they're where they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to be doing. You have to say there's a giant dragon that you're terrified of, and you're screaming, and then you fall into a hole. And so your job is to really remember everything that has to happen down the road, and communicate that.
Wow, that's very interesting. I can tell it takes a lot of imagination to put together this story. As a fan of Pixar films, I'm very curious to know, how long did it take to make Onward?
6 years. From the very beginning idea on, and it's all about writing and rewriting to get the story just right and the jokes just right. And the animation doesn't really happen till the last year and a half.
Wow, that could take some serious persistence.
Right.
What was your biggest challenge directing this film?
Again, the story is always hard in all these movies because you have to keep working on it and refreshing it and trying to make it work. That was one of the hardest elements. And then it's also a big world of crazy fantasy creatures, and we had to design and create all those creatures in the background. And that is something that is really complex and hard to do. But I think it leads to kind of a richer world.
How did you choose Chris Pratt, Tom Holland, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus as the key talent in this film, and what was it like to work with them?
Well, our main character, Ian, was sort of a shy kid who lacks confidence, which is what I was like when I was 16. We needed someone who could do that in a funny way, and Tom Holland does that great. Chris Pratt is so much like Barley in that they're both wild and fun and funny. And Julia Louis-Dreyfus reminded me of my mom, who was very funny growing up, and she was also very strong and really, inspired us and encouraged us. And Julia is so funny and so powerful and strong. You could really tell that she could parent Barley. She could deal with Barley.
I definitely agree. What was the personal touches, what personal touches will we see in this movie that come from you?
Well, I grew up in Clawson, and I had my brother and my mom as a big part of my life. My father also passed away, like the boys in the movie. So just every part of how that was like growing up, all the ways that they were supportive of me, all of that stuff is in the movie, and it's why I wanted to make the movie so that other people could look at the people in their lives who have supported and encouraged them and appreciate them.
Wow, it is so amazing that you get to share your story in this film.
Oh, thanks.
What are you most proud of in this film?
I'm most proud of how the other members of the team, the other artists and filmmakers, made the film look so good. My imagination of the film only goes so far, but they took it to another level and made it something really beautiful.
I definitely agree. The animation in this film was just amazing.
Thanks.
What message in this film would you like the audience to take away?
Well, I think, like I was saying, it's a movie about support, and so I think people should maybe look around them and see the people that are supporting them or have done a little extra to help them, and thank those people, and maybe even be those people to a young person.
What advice do you have for a kid like me that comes from Michigan who wants to be in the film industry?
Well, nowadays, we can do so much with our cameras, with our phones, and I think you can make a film, a short film, keep it short, something simple that you can learn from. And I mean, that is such a great opportunity that we have these days. Talk to your family and friends to learn about how to make films and get them to help you make them. And watch movies that you like, read books that you like. Those are probably the best ways to come up with creative ideas, is to be around creative things.
Well, thank you, Dan. And our time is almost up, so I got one last question for you. I am a major jokester, and I have to know, were there any pranks pulled on set?
Oh man, that's a good question. Sometimes they would, in the editing, they would edit lines into the movie that weren't the real lines, and they would edit joke lines. And they would tell me, "Oh, we have to see this scene, and we need you to look at something." And I'd be watching the scene, and then the character would say something ridiculous or whatever, and I would laugh, but then say, "We got stuff to do. No more joking around."
That's amazing. I love that. Well, thank you for talking to me. It was a pleasure.
Oh, total pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, anytime. Go see Onward, everyone, in theaters everywhere. And be sure to check out and subscribe to our channel. I'm Eva W reporting for Kids First. Catch you next time.